The recording.
Yes, that sounds. Thank you, Gabriela. That sounds good with me. So I'll call to order the Housing Authority's Finance Development Committee meeting. It's Monday, November 21st, and it is 5:04. Okay, so let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Gabriela, since I see you on my screen, can you lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure. I pledge
Thank you.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to roll call. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gama.
Present.
Commissioner Healy. Commissioner Booter.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Gabriela, do we have any comments from the public?
We do not.
Moving on to approval of the minutes of the Finance Development meeting held October 17th.
I move approval.
I'll second that. I believe that was Kevin. He's having issues calling into the meeting. I had that issue as well at the meeting. ID does not exist from the agenda, but there was a different, Gabriela, can you scroll down to see the agenda?
Yeah. I'll send them a link to this one.
Yes, because that meeting
Good
ID
evening.
was
I
not,
got in.
oh, there he is.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And it was Hans that moved to approve the minutes.
Yes, and I second. Can we get a roll call for that?
Commissioner Gama.
Yes.
Commissioner Healy.
Abstain because I wasn't there.
Commissioner Booter.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. So now moving on to new business, authorization of housing management semi-annual write-offs of bad debt for South County RAD property 801.
So, commissioners, this is like we did last month. We're making progress on the outstanding adjustments and write-offs for the various RAD portfolio properties. And this month, we're ready to do the South County RAD. And you can see 2017, it was $3,700. 2018, it was $3,300. And 2019, it was $992. If you look at the attachment and blow it up to like 400 or 800%, I guess 400%, you can see that the adjustments are the bigger piece that we had to work with. And so we had adjustments of $20,000 in 2016, and then negative $20,000 in 2018. And so that's the bulk of what the work really was, is kind of netting out all of these big adjustments that were errors due to the RAD conversion and the delay of the vouchers. So once that all gets straightened out, you're left with the write-offs of what the actual write-offs are. And Jose and his team and the finance team have gone through each one of these tenant files individually, piece by piece, from 2016 to 2019 to make sure that it's all correct. And I'm happy to answer questions.
I guess one of my questions was, when we see 2020 through 2022 represented here as being blank, does that mean that those years look good, or does that just like you could have hidden those columns on this and it's just like we were only looking at 2016 to 2019 for the analysis?
Jose?
For the analysis, we were only looking at from 26 to 2019. We did all the way from 2016 to 2022, but for the purposes of this, we're only sending 16 to 19 because that's what we needed to do for this AR recon.
And we've asked this like a million times in the past, but just so I'm clear, Jose, do you feel like from 2020 forward that these issues are no longer present in the tenant ledgers?
In general, yes, there is only a few that are lingering that we can manually adjust without having any impact on the rents or the, reporting income. So it's very minimal. There's only a handful. I can share later maybe the whole analysis we did all the way through 2022, but it's very minimal. It's very minimal. Nothing like from 16 to 2019. That was the bulk, and that was what's causing the majority of the problems.
Can I add something? Okay. Part of the problem, I mean, without rehashing everything, was these are the years that NEF, all those times that we came back and we're talking about our equity investor and all those agreements and discussions. These are the years that they've been waiting for. So it's nice that we all finally, have been able to come to resolution and by the end of the year, get them their numbers so that we can close this out and move on. So I'll be really happy by the end of December.
It's funny. I mean, it is like 80+%, it looks like, of the tenant ledgers have some adjustment that had to be made, right?
Right.
Yes.
But the net dollar amount, like we overshot it, we undershot it, but the net dollar amount is like de minimis.
It's very small. It's just the amount of work was tremendous. I mean, it's taken a long time because it's a huge undertaking, but you're right. I mean, all those conversations, I mean, you were a part of those. It made it sound like it was some huge dollar amount that was going to get written off. I mean, I think Jose and I talked about this a bunch, and Kim, the net effect was going to be small. We just didn't know how small until now.
Yeah. That's helpful. Well, Viviana, unless you want to entertain more comment, I guess I move approval of that related resolution for 5A.
Second.
Okay, thank you. So we have approval in a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Gama,
Yes.
Commissioner Healy,
Yes.
Commissioner Booter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. So now moving on to new business, the proposed HDC consolidated operational budget for the fiscal year of 2022 to 2023.
So at a high level, this budget is overdue. So it's a little bit of a cleanup issue. And B, it is a budget that shows net income because the $1.8 million of developer fee revenue is expected to come in during this time period, which exceeds that, combined with the tenant rent revenue, exceeds the total expenditures. I think a structural issue down the road is what the expected developer fee income is going to be in years to come. But I think on its face, this is a good budget that shows net revenue and is relatively conservative. And if Kim or Carolina have anything to add, they certainly can. or if there are questions.
I mean, one question I had was just the bullet point outline mentions 4.5 million. And I see the 1.8 million in developer fees, but the total revenue that I see is like 2.5. I do see 1.7 in tenant revenue, but it lists Casanova Plaza as the title. I don't know if that's the wrong title. On like another budget below. I'm just trying to tie it all together.
Yeah, so the number of the 4.5 is a consolidated number, and then the budgets are presented more as a business line.
All of the HDC development, their budget is under one budget, and then Casanova, which is a separate property, and the single family homes are sent separately. So it's the total of all of them.
I guess the question is why Casanova and the single family homes are broken out separately relative to other properties.
Do you think it would?
It's the way they were, sorry, Kim, it's the way they were structured. So typically, like all of our other deals, we have limited partnerships that are formed. Casanova is the one that was just, it's an LLC. HDC is the only member, and it was solely created for the $10 million refinance of Casanova that happened last year in order to facilitate the funding or the closing of One Parkside LP. So it's not structured like our other deals where we normally acquire, federal tax credits, and we partner with an equity partner and investor and go through a typical LIHTC deal. So that's why this one's separated out, just like the single family homes, they're owned by HDC as well. So you've seen those in the past. They've been presented the same way. The 9 single family homes are rolled up separately like this, just with HDC.
So you're basically saying we own Casanova
Yes.
and the single family homes outright. And so
Yes.
all of that tenant revenue comes to us.
Yes.
Okay.
The only partner we have with Casanova is our lender. I mean, got a mortgage debt to them, to JLL. There's no other entity involved.
Yeah.
Just a lot of debt.
So yeah, you'll look at the net income on that one. So we're cash flowing like 750, or is this before insurance, before
depreciation and interest?
So that is that like basically NOI, like the 750,000? Is that like pre-debt?
Yeah, it doesn't include the principal or the replacement reserves on the properties.
Okay. But it does include interest expense.
Yes.
Okay, so we're like, well, it doesn't include principal, but so who knows? But we're cash flowing to some extent.
Yes.
Okay. And the only thing I would say is like, and I'm not an accountant, so obviously it's an LLC, but it's a wholly owned LLC. So it would be nice at some point to have a total roll up somewhere where we see, hey, even if it's just a line item, net from single family homes, we're bringing in or losing this much money, and net we're bringing in and losing this much money from Casanova, so that like we can have a consolidated picture of like all of HDC somewhere.
Do you think that's preferable to having it separated, or do you want that included with the separate items?
I think having the separate items is helpful additional detail. It'd be nice to be able to really get your arms around it, to have it consolidated as well.
Because I can have someone prepare that tomorrow and add it, give it to Gabby to add. If you
No,
would
I mean basically
like
you'd
that.
just be, I get that you're just adding this piece to it, but I stared at this for a while and just couldn't understand kind of the relationship. So if it just flowed in as a line item, I think it'd be more intuitive. So
Probably in the memo.
We can add to the narrative, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get with Kim tomorrow and add a bit more, since it is a little different than our other, what we're used to seeing.
Okay. Okay.
Other questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Kevin, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I think the one thing I did note for everyone's collective benefit was the overall reduction and what it looks like in terms of our overall comprehensive expense, which I was happy to see.
And Tori, do we need a vote? Do we need to pass?
Yeah, just to move it to the main HTC board meeting. So we'd be looking for a motion in a second.
I would go ahead and make that motion then.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gama,
Yes.
Commissioner Healy,
Yes.
Commissioner Booter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Great, thank you. Moving on to 6, information, the finance report.
Kim, take it away. Oh, you're on mute, Kim.
There hasn't been any significant changes from the previous month. I mean, like significant. Everything's mostly like within the same range as it was.
Everything meaning what?
Meaning as far as our HAP expenses and income has been, it's went down just a little bit, but it's not a significant amount. And look at the other, I'm trying to get my other worksheet up. So. Sorry. But there hasn't been a lot of changes since last quarter. There it is.
So I know this is a complicated question and one that it requires some level of subjectivity, but if we had to think about, I know that this balance sheet says we have 6.7 million of unrestricted cash. But I guess, again, it depends a little bit on your definition, but in terms of actual cash, we have, if we needed to pay out a lawsuit or, a settlement or whatnot, do we have a sense of kind of what that number is right now?
We do have money I put away. We just received some money from the Portola Vista waterfall. and we put that money away, and we've been doing that with anything that we've been getting. So I know that there's a portion of that that's also HDCs, but that would be like unrestricted for us to use.
Yeah. I guess like, can anybody give me like a dollar amount, just like try to get a sense relative to the size of our budget, just how much cushion we have?
I would say right now it's just like a couple $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have about $2.9 million that's not restricted.
You're only looking at Hackams though, right, Kim? We can look at our
Right. Well, this is
waterfall
all,
sheet.
yeah, this is only for Hackham. This isn't for HDC.
Okay,
I would have to look at the other waterfalls and the
Yeah.
money that's came in for that also.
we
Is
can get
that,
those numbers.
is that,
Yeah.
is that factoring in the Zumwalt payout that's gonna have to be made, or is
That's
the-
already, that
Yep,
was done.
Yeah, it's already been made.
it's not?
Mhm.
Okay.
And we don't have any other settlements, right, that we need to make? Or anything?
Not that are currently pending.
No.
Okay. I'll get I'll get a better number for you and a better answer for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't had a full-time CFO in a while, and I know this has been a difficult number to get, but I think it's helpful from a board perspective to just understand how much cushion we have. So I appreciate it.
Kim, do you have anything else to add for your report? Hearing none, I would just point out that we are hoping to complete the 620 and 621 audits by December 31st of this year. And so that's really what the finance team has been focused on, is getting all of these audits done and getting caught up on the audits. But if there are no other questions, we can move on.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions. Thank you for that report. Now moving on to the development and property management report.
I can report that we've got our certificates of occupancy on both buildings. Property management's been leasing up. Tenants, I think one building's almost fully leased. Been working with Section 8 on briefings. We had one scheduled today. I think about half the people didn't show up, but things are moving well at Parkside. There's a few last minute items that are getting finished up with the contractor, but it's going well. We have along budgets. Before I forget, last month we did have our Tynan Village meeting, and we were supposed to present financials. So there may be just financial statements that need to come to the board for the meeting, just like a 1 or 2 page thing. Okay, I want to make sure we don't forget so that we don't get in trouble as our once a year requirement for that meeting. On the Tynan job, we still have not finished up the last few door repairs and handrails, but we should be done probably in the next 3 weeks, as long as things come in on time. Everything's on back order right now with the holidays now. But at least the building looks like it's completely done, the scaffold going and everything. So things are good here. The repairs that Zumwalt's doing at the properties, as we mentioned, the lawsuits, those are moving along well. And property management staff's helping with making sure that those repairs are going, since I've got my project manager out for a few months. And I think those are the big things. Does Jose, you want to add anything?
We have a couple of visits from couple of the equity partners doing actually CCRC is doing some inspections in Castroville, and also Haciendas 3, Haciendas 4 will be having visits by CCRC. And other than that, like Carolina mentioned, the Lisa for Casanova is going, and we are finalizing the AR reconciliation for 802 and 803, which should be going to the board next month. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is on the report.
And does that mean next month, then we'll be done with the reconciliation process at last?
Correct.
Yay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
We've got big plans for December.
Gonna be a big.
Audits. Bye. I know. Oh, we did also, I hope that everybody got their invite for the grand opening. We had to push it out a month. We sent out a save the date. So January 19th is the new date for One Parkside. Our lenders and equity investors couldn't make the December date. So January 19th is a new date we've scheduled.
I got that one. Gabby, do you think you might be able to try to resend that to me?
Yeah, it wasn't a calendar invite. It was just a save the date email.
I can get Gabby an invite so she can put it on everybody's calendar. Probably work best.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for the report. Let me see what's next. Commissioner comments. Let's start with Commissioner Buter.
I guess it's exciting to see, the lease up on Parkside. So congrats to everybody. That's been a long road to get there. And then I guess also a shout out to Jose and the accounting folks and whomever was involved on those tenant ledgers. I know that's a very tedious process. We've been working on it for a long time. It's nice to see it. Looks like it's finally getting to, the last stage of the process, which I think will be great. So I think consolidating the two entities has been super helpful in, facilitating that cooperation, which is great.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Buter. Commissioner Healy?
I would echo Commissioner Buter's comments and thank everyone for all their continued hard work and perseverance.
Thank you, Commissioner Healy. And I will also echo what my fellow commissioners have said. Thank you to all the team. And with that, I adjourn the meeting. It is 5:33.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.